Welcome to the Best of the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney, and we're happy to welcome you. And we want to say thank you to everyone who supports us on all our platforms, especially those who write to us on social media, follow us, and share their immigration stories with us. We're grateful to the community that we have built together and has inspired us to create this podcast. We hope you enjoy it. Let's go to Gagan. Gagan, hello.
Hi, Jim.
How you doing?
Good. So we have an N400 interview coming up under the 3-year rule, and the estimated time is 3 weeks. But we're also pregnant, and the due date for that is around 5 weeks. It's running
Oh.
super close.
Mhm.
So I was thinking if it comes to that, it does really coincide. How can we reschedule safely, or what would happen?
Is this the first child or a later child?
Second child.
Second children come quick. That's why I asked. But putting that to the side, so the baby's due in 5 weeks and the interview's in 3 weeks. Oh, you don't know
Yeah.
when the interview is. No, you just know that there's just, like they said, an interview's been scheduled, but you don't know when that is.
Correct. It's just one of those tentative 3 weeks until decision, and the step says interview scheduled, which is
Yeah. So most likely it's going to come on the due date or something like that. Like the interview will
okay.
be, but here's the thing. So did that just pop up that the interview was being scheduled like in the last couple days?
It was kind of little. So it was 3 months, and then it was 2 months few days ago, and then today I checked, it's suddenly from 2 months to 3 weeks.
Oh, but as of right now, you haven't gotten any notice that an
No,
interview notice is on its way.
no,
Oh,
yes, no notice in readers.
it'll be way past the baby coming.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
good.
a notice is always 4 or 5 weeks out, usually, unless it's like a lawsuit or something.
Oh,
So even if you get a notice tomorrow, you'll that would be, obviously, if you got the notice tomorrow, that would be a problem. But if the notice isn't even going to come for 6 weeks or 3 months, then you got plenty of time. But let me answer the overall question. Let's say instead you were calling me and you said, Jim, I've applied under the 3-year rule. This will be a good video. I've applied under the 3-year rule, and my spouse is very, very pregnant, and the due date is the interview date. Or my wife had a baby and my interview's tomorrow. There's the title. I'm going to write that down. My wife had a baby and her interview's tomorrow. So here's the thing. You don't have to bring your spouse. I mean, you know me, I always encourage people to bring the spouse, right? And
right.
it's good to have the spouse. And technically, if you get a real jerk of an officer, they might not approve the case. But what I would be thinking in my mind is, how can I prove this marriage is valid if my spouse isn't there? So like military spouses often aren't there for a 3-year rule, right? And so this can be done. And having a second child in a marriage is, in the list of strength of marriage evidence, that's having a second child in a marriage is pretty high up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say I would have all my medical records ready, including her delivery date and all that stuff. I'd have that all ready to give a copy and send it to the officer. And I would bring lots of family photos, and I would say, my wife would love to be here, but I slept at the hospital last night. We just had a baby, and she wasn't able to be here. If you want to reschedule it, like, I would show up ready to go and act like you guys should approve this case even without her being here. And then at the back end, if they give you any grief, then reschedule it, motherfucker, so that I can bring you my wife. But she just had the damn baby yesterday. So what do you want me to do? So that's how I would think about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't thinking this option. Awesome, solid advice. Thanks, Jim. You're
Good luck
awesome.
with everything. Good luck with the baby.
Thank you.
See ya. All right. Ethan's up next. Hi, Ethan.
Hi, I thank you
Are
for
you?
your thank you for your service first and foremost.
Sure. Are you driving?
No, my wife is driving.
Okay,
So
great.
I have a few questions for you.
Great.
First is a friend of mine. He have a problem in his country of origin. He's from Brazil, and he gets arrested, and he stay over 5 years in jail. However, this is over 20 years ago. So for his country, in his country, he do not have any problem with the just anymore. His background check is clean, and he's married now with an American citizen for over 7 years. I would like to know if there is some problem to apply without apply for adjustment of status without make a waiver.
What was the crime?
Is drug related crime.
Like
Yes.
like
So the short
possession of.
story is he rented a part of the house that he was living for somebody, and the person that was living in this part of the house was doing drugs.
Mhm.
So the cops came and they arrest everybody. It's like they arrest the guys that have the drugs. They arrest my friend and his girlfriend at the time, his brother and his girlfriend at the time, and they put everybody in the same pact, and they make everybody feel guilty. I mean, they judge everybody as a guilty person. So everybody stay over 4 years in jail. That is for drug related.
Okay. Well, what I would say is that it's going to be very difficult for someone with a drug conviction that led to a 4-year jail term to come to the United States. They
All
might
right.
it might be an aggravated felony. It might not allow them to be able to come at all. I would say, instead of asking me, Jim, do you think he can come without getting a waiver? I think you should be asking me, Jim, do you think he'll be lucky enough to be asked to apply for a waiver? Like, he's probably only coming with a waiver, is what I mean.
Okay. So that's the interest part. Um, this guy, this friend of mine, he in fact applied for the visa. Um, but because in the laws of his country he was already clean, he did not say that he have problem with the
I knew,
justice.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. So what you're saying is that because it got expunged or he was done or it was all cleaned
Yes.
up, that he didn't. I mean, for everybody watching, if you've ever been arrested, you have to say I've been arrested, right? For the rest of your life. You just because you got it expunged or cleaned up or dismissed, or you did your jail time and now you're in good shape, none of that stuff matters. If you are arrested, you're arrested. If you're convicted, you're convicted, no matter what the state or the other country does with that conviction.
Oh,
So now he's got a misrepresentation charge.
yes, that's true. So,
So he's probably not coming.
well, he's already here. He's married with an American citizen for over 7 years now, but
Oh,
he
he's
never applied for the adjustment of status.
he came on a visit visa.
Yes, he came on time and he stayed for like maybe a month, and then he come back to Brazil, and he stayed there for like maybe 6 months, and then he come back again to America, and this time he stayed and he ended up marrying American citizen for over 7 years now, but he never applied for adjustment of status.
So the DS-160 is where he lied. He didn't disclose the drug conviction when he got his
That
visit visa.
that's correct.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a misrepresentation. And then the question is whether he can stay at all. And does his spouse or his children, do they have any health issues or anything?
The spouse depend on him to help with her with some real estate business. He fixed the houses for her.
That's not a
He,
waiver. That's not a
I
waiver.
mean,
That's not a waiver. That's a handyman husband.
yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So does the wife or the kids have any health
They
problems?
no, they do not have kids.
They don't have kids.
No,
Okay. Well, it sounds like a tough waiver case. It sounds like, and as of right now, the federal government doesn't know that he's here and he overstayed.
I'm sorry.
As of right now, he's never filed for an immigration benefit inside the United States, right?
No, never, never.
Yeah. So It's funny. I should probably do a video on this. A lot of people are thinking, Trump's coming. I need to get my shit in order. I better file, right? But now this is like the worst time to file. Like the best time to file would have been the day Joe Biden became president, not now. Right? This is the worst time to file. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
In
is.
other words,
Yes.
in other words, he needs to do his best hiding if he can for the next 4 years, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he was planning to apply, without disclose um the past. He did a background check from his country and also from America, and he's clean. So he was planning to apply without disclose that.
That's just more fraud.
Oh, you make a snowball.
Huh?
You be a snowball, more problem.
Yeah.
Okay. The last question is: there is some problem if applying after without being out of status for too long. I mean, he's married for over 7 years. Let's say he decided to apply anyway to adjustment of status. He's married for 7 years right now. There is some problem about that.
That's the least of his problems. That's solved. That's the fact that he's out of status for 7 years. That doesn't matter if he's married to a U.S. citizen. That's all forgiven. It's all the other shit that he's got that's wrong with his case.
Okay. Thank you so much. The last but not least, is better apply for in paper or in electronically.
I don't want him to apply.
Okay. All right.
Ethan, see you, buddy.
All right. Thank you so much, and thank you so much.
You got it.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Not so good. So I have a friend who went to an interview, a spousal interview, which was quite adversarial. And at the end of the interview, they said everything was fine. But after we left, the husband sent in the divorce papers, which they had asked for at the first interview where his husband went to. But he didn't hand it in at the spousal interview. And then the case came back. They returned the case to USCIS, saying they think it's five things were wrong with it. My question is, we've answered the NOR thing. It's been more than 3 months. I've heard stories where sometimes they take up to a year, 2 years, because they really want to find out if this is real. Is that true to respond?
No, that's BS. So let's back up. So this is an overseas case.
Yes, yeah. The husband was here undocumented. Went back on I think you call it the waiver to get a visa to come back into the country. So at the interview, they said, no, you have to bring your husband in. And the husband went in for a spousal interview. So yeah, it was to get the visa to come back into the country for the I-130.
Is this Jamaica?
No, this is South America. They're
America.
very homophobic, by the way.
Okay. So U.S. or the State Department conducts the interview. Does the U.S. citizen spouse go to the interview?
Yes.
What happens at that interview?
At the interview, he was very nervous. They separated. I think you call that
Stokes.
Yeah, they separate the husbands and ask their questions. And then at the end of the interview, both interview the guy, the gentleman. It was a guy and a lady that was interviewing. And the gentleman who seems to be the lead guy said everything is fine. Pick up your passport in 2 weeks. But he never asked for the divorce paper. We were told to bring it in, but he never asked for the divorce papers. So when they left the interview, we said, why don't we send the divorce papers in since I didn't ask for it? And that's when the whole thing came back, saying it's going back to the USCIS.
Is there an age gap?
Yeah, there's an age gap.
How much?
62 and 44.
So 18 years.
Yeah.
The the person who had to go back to their home country, they had entered the United States without inspection.
Yes,
And how long had they been in the United States?
since 2011.
And how long did the 601 did the couple just file a 601A waiver or a 601 waiver?
601 waiver.
Okay. And you're saying that after that interview, after they told you to leave the passport, that shortly thereafter they sent the whole file back to USCIS for possible revocation, and the couple has not heard back from USCIS with an NOIR, right?
Right. So they received the NOIR. It was responded to.
Oh, okay. So what did the NOIR say?
The no said there were 5 questions that didn't correspond with each other.
And like, what were they? Like, what were the questions?
One of them, one of the question was, where did the husband said they bought the ring at the Galleria or wherever at the mall for $200, which is true. But also the other husband said, no, 2 rings were presented. At the interview, they also asked, did you lose one of the ring? And they said, yeah, because we did lose one of the ring. I'm going to have to stop saying friend like that because I'm getting mixed up. So let me just
say the American and the non-American.
Yeah, so the non-American did lose the ring. And I guess that's what the husband was talking about. So they said that question didn't correspond.
What else?
The other thing was the meeting date, which got mixed up because the meeting date. The third one was what happens after the wedding. And
what do you mean? Like, where did you go?
Yeah.
Okay. So you understand that it's extremely unusual and hardly ever happens that the American gets called into the embassy for an interview. Like, that happens maybe 1 out of 1,000 cases.
I thought so too. Yeah.
So they were already onto this couple at the outset. It sounds like the embassy doesn't like the case. Did the couple get help in responding to the notice of intent to revoke, or did they do it themselves?
No, the couple got help from a lawyer, the same lawyer who did the whole thing. To be quite honest, the couple wasn't prepared for the interview because we weren't told how to prepare for it.
Did the lawyer know that the U.S. citizen was being asked to go to that interview?
Yes, and the lawyer said, "Oh, they just go. They just want to see your face." I mean,
that was stupid.
Yeah.
That was bad advice. Okay, so what's your question for me? Now you've responded to the notice of intent to revoke like 90 days ago.
Yes, and we haven't heard anything.
What I'm trying to figure out is, when did this whole process start? When did you file the I-130?
The I-130 was filed back before COVID, and then there was COVID, so it was delayed.
And so if we had to guess, it's sitting still at USCIS, not having yet been sent back to the State Department, as far as you know?
Right. So my question is, I've heard that sometimes they do this, like they take like a year or 2 years because they want to really find out if you're married, and then they'll ask you for more evidence. Is that correct?
No, you're getting a lot of bad information. I think that if you really want to find out what's going to happen, you need to sue USCIS and the State Department. They're going to play this hot potato game forever, which is who has the file, right? So USCIS usually, almost always, revalidates the I-130 and sends it back to the State Department. But you could be stuck here for 2 years waiting while they try to figure out where your file actually is. Does that make sense?
Okay. So how long do I have to wait before I can sue them? Because I don't want to sue them and then we don't want to sue them and then it comes back saying, like a vendetta, saying, okay, you're pushing us to do the case, so we're just gonna.
So we've sued them 2,000 times, and they don't do vendettas. They don't care about being sued. It just makes them get working on the case. They don't deny a case because you sued them or approve it because you sued them. It just is to get a final decision. So the thing is, they're going to decide your case at some point in the future. So why not do it sooner rather than later? That's my point.
Okay. And my point is, if they gave us a bad decision, is there anything we can do after that, or we just have to live with the decision?
Technically, you could appeal it, file a motion to reopen, but that'd be really hard to overcome. If the embassy doesn't want to let the man come back, they're not going to let him come back.
Oh wow. So you're saying even if USCIS approve it and send it back, if they don't want the person to come back, they're not going to let him come back?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the embassy has the choice. If there's an 18-year age gap and they feel like the couple was acting strange at the interview and their answers didn't match, they're not going to give a visa.
Okay.
All right, good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Hi, Jim. I just want to ask you a very quick question.
Sure.
I have this case from a I-485 for a petition from my wife, and I have this incoming interview, and it's the second one. And me and my wife are not doing better, She was asking me if, she was thinking of filing a divorce,
She's the
and
he's a U.S. citizen, or you're the U.S. citizen?
she's the U.S. citizen.
And when you got married, were you in status or were you out of status?
I'm out of status.
So how long were you out of status before you filed the I-130?
Oh, it's like 4 months.
And you came on a visit visa or something else?
Yes, sir. I'm a tourist.
Okay. And tell me what happened at the first interview.
The first interview, we talk about it, and I told her, hey, we have to talk to the lawyer so that, he might help us, like, I don't want to make mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she told me, no, I can do it my own. She was so stubborn. And I talked to the lawyer, and the lawyer told me, hey, you know what? Just don't appear to the interview. Call them.
Don't what?
Don't show up.
Don't show up?
Yes, sir. That's what.
The lawyer said don't show up?
Yeah, because she was thinking that my wife is gonna do something crazy, make things like, so that they won't, give me that green card.
Okay.
And she told me it's better if you're not getting along together, might as well file a VAWA case.
Your lawyer told you this?
Yes, sir.
What's the
And
violence?
but
What's the violence that you suffered from your wife?
it's like she doesn't want me to live with her in her house, and
That's not
I
violence.
found
That's not violence. What's the violence that you suffered? What's the abuse, the physical abuse that you suffered?
she was like hurting me whenever I don't give her some money. Like whenever they went to a bowling, free. Like, yeah, hey, I need some money. I said, I gave you all my money, and she pushed me. Or like say, hey, what? Hey, don't do this. I'm doing my best. She wants some more. Like, she wants like she gets everything she wants. I tried to. She told me she needs a car. Okay, I gave we went to the dealership, and we got a car, and I said, what's next? I said, I think you really don't marry me for marriage. Like, you just need me for your, for your what you call that, your needs. Like, you want me to pay for the house, you want me to pay for the bills. I said, this is not marriage, and you don't want me to live with you because you told me you have your kid's dad. I said, what's going on? Say, I can't live with that.
So, what's your question for me, Junior?
And the question is, I have this incoming second interview, and my VAWA case is nearly on like a status of filing. Uh, what will be my next step with the USCIS? Should I call them and tell them I want to cancel the interview or what?
Well, what does your lawyer say? This brilliant lawyer that you have, what do they say?
She told me tell the USCIS that you are doing like filing a VAWA case.
Is the VAWA case on file?
Incoming. It says they're doing it right now.
Okay. I think you're this close to getting into deportation. This whole thing sounds like something that they're going to be very suspicious of. That they're going to say, dude, you came on a visit. You didn't go back when you said you would. You overstayed. You married someone. You got them to file for you. We scheduled you for an interview. You didn't show up for your interview. So then we waited and we sent you for a second interview. And you then said that you're getting to file a VAWA case. It's like they're not going to believe any of this, I don't think.
Then what will be your suggestion? Should I appear in that interview?
You can, but I mean, if it's after January 20th, they might just put you in removal. I mean, do you think maybe your wife sent them a mean letter and said you're a bad person?
No. We're still talking though.
Okay, but what does that mean?
And she was expecting that, but the problem with my wife is, she's stubborn. She don't listen to anybody. Like I told her, you know what? You have to listen to the lawyer because she's giving us advice. And she
Yeah,
told me,
it sounds like your wife doesn't want to play the immigration game anymore.
yeah, sounds like that.
Does your wife? Wait, hold on. Does your wife know that you're filing the VAWA case?
No, I didn't tell her about it.
Is the same lawyer that filed your I-130 filing the VAWA case?
No.
It's a different lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I think the chances of any of this working is very, very low.
Okay.
I think you're going to get sent back home. And it's funny because I was just thinking that you were being stubborn in what I'm telling you, and you said your wife is stubborn. But to me, it seems like you're being stubborn and you're only hearing what you want to hear. I think your case is in big trouble. I think they're gonna the fact that you don't even have the VAWA case on file right now. If you don't show up for that second interview, they're going to say, this is a joke. We've given them 2 chances. This case is denied. And oh, by the way, here's your notice to appear in immigration court because you have no status in the United States. That's what I think is going to happen.
Sure. What do you mean I don't have status? I have a work permit though.
No status in the United States.
Even though I have a work permit?
Work permit's not shit. That's just a temporary work card. That's not status. You have no status. You're a visa overstay. And pretty soon you're going to be a visa overstay with a withdrawn or denied I-130 485 and a paper thin VAWA case.
And then what is your advice?
My advice is you probably need to start thinking about going back home.
Oh. I have any options besides that?
Well, let's play it out. The only other option that would be there would be if you married a different U.S. citizen. But at that point, you've had such a cloud of suspicion over you because of the coming on the tourist visa, overstaying, marrying someone who didn't show up for their interview, who didn't show up for their second interview, then filed a BS VAWA case, and then married person number 2. That's not much of an option. That the chances of that being approved are extremely low, under 5%. And they'll probably say the first marriage was fake, and then you don't get anything.
Does the VAWA would help me?
The VAWA sounds like you made it up. It doesn't sound like anything to me. VAWA is for when your husband beats the shit out of you. VAWA is for when you are beaten or locked up in the house or bad things happening. Somebody getting mad because you won't give them money to go to bowling is not VAWA. And your attorney who's filing it, they're the kinds of people that make real VAWA cases hard to get approved. So no, I don't think your VAWA case seems very strong to me, especially after everything that's happened.
And do you think I have to appear in that interview?
I'm not telling you that. You do what you want.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye, June. Let's go to G. G, are you there?
Yes, sir. Hi,
Hi,
Jim.
G.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Jim. My name is Grace. So, we came into this country with my husband around 2018, and then we both filed for asylum, and we were called for interview. I think a month after we went in for the interview, like a year later, we were referred to court, and we got an attorney to just help us with the case and all. Well, to cut the long story short, we had 3 kids in between that period and now. And last year, around August, our case was dismissed from the court. So now, right now, I actually caught my husband cheating even before then, even before our case was dismissed. And we've been fighting over it. And then last year, November, he just left us. He left me with the 3 kids. I'm already in the process of filing a divorce. But right now, my fear is this. I'm currently out of status. I only have a work permit, which is going to expire in like about 4 years' time. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should go ahead and apply for asylum alone, or I should just go ahead and pull him back. So because our asylum claim was together, I really I don't know what to do right now.
Who is the principal applicant on the asylum application?
It's me.
And then he was the derivative?
Yes, sir.
I don't know that I would raise my hand and remind them that you're here. I mean, you can't affirmatively apply for asylum because it already got referred. So I would just know that you're going to raise asylum if you get put back into proceedings. There's no reason to remind them that you're here. They'll get to you eventually, but why would you say, "Hey, I'm here"?
Oh,
Why would you?
okay. I don't
What would be
understand
the
that.
benefit? You don't understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you had an asylum claim, and you still have your same asylum claim, right?
Yeah.
If you get put back, your deportation proceedings got dismissed, which means right now you're not in active deportation.
Yeah.
So your question to me was, Jim, do I apply for asylum again? And no,
Yeah.
you don't
Okay.
need to apply for asylum again. You can't apply for it with the asylum office because they already referred you to the court.
Yeah.
So if they send you a notice to appear tomorrow, next month, a year from now, then at that time, you'll apply for asylum as a defense to your deportation. Does that make sense?
Okay. All right, sir. Okay.
You
All
understand
right.
what I'm saying? Don't
Mm-hmm.
just say you
I do.
understand if you don't. I want to make sure you get what I'm
I
saying.
do.
Okay.
I do understand what you're saying. I understand.
Okay.
Thank you so
Any other
much. Thank you
questions?
so much. No, that's all. Thank you so much, Jim.
Good question, G. Or good luck, G. See ya.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you have it. Another edition of the Best of the Immigration Answers Show. Again, my name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. If you want to get a hold of us at the firm, you can email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, or you can call us at 314-961-8200. You also can join our free Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. We'd love to have you join us there. There's thousands of immigrants talking about the immigration process in there every single day. We also have our YouTube channel where you can subscribe to see all of our videos and to get alerted whenever we go live, whenever we're going to record another episode of the Immigration Answer Show. Maybe you could be a guest and ask us a question. Finally, if you're not following us on TikTok, we suggest you do at Immigration Hacking. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.